Okay, my name is Bill Pagula, and I'd like to welcome you all to the PSG of Mercer County April Fool's meeting. As you know, today is April 1st. I'll say Happy Aloha Friday to you and welcome you. And as you may remember from grade school, that April Fool's Day, April 1st, is a day to play practical jokes and tricks on the unaware. So I got to thinking about that, and I had one memorable one of which I was the victim. My 10-year-old daughter was the perpetrator. I was working out of my virtual office here in New Jersey that day, working on contracts and things, doing a lot of word processing. And as I was going along, I noticed that whenever I typed the word the, T-H-E, the screen would display it as T-E-H. And I was getting frustrated, and I had to go, if you backspace, you can override it, but I kept doing that, and I was starting to get a little hot under the collar about it. And come to find out, during lunchtime, she had snuck in and customized the autocorrect so that T-H-E was now a bad spelling of the word T-E-H, and it would automatically autocorrect every time. So I came downstairs, and I was a little bit red and in the face, and meanwhile she was giggling away and just priceless. So, I mean, what could I do, right? But that was you might have a memorable one like that too, and if you want to share it later on in the after party, we can do that. We'll have our formal meeting now, and then after, just for any newcomers, when the meeting ends, we stop the recording, but we do have a networking session afterwards where everybody's open mic, and it's just a conversation, similar to what we were just doing. So stick around for that afterwards. You don't have to leave when I say goodbye, and then you can participate in that. Okay. As PSG and Mercer County is a group here for you if you're either in job search or you are in a career looking for a new job. We have a website called psgofmercercounty.org, and it contains over 130 pages of very useful information for people looking for jobs, or wanting to explore opportunities. One of the things that I'm pretty proud of is the open jobs page. That has listings of companies segmented by industry for Mercer County, New Jersey, and the 6 surrounding counties. So including Bucks County, which David Schuckman will say is overseas. So feel free to go in and explore that. You will not find job listings there, but if you click on a company in that page, what you will see is that it'll take you right to the careers page of that company. So you can explore their listings at your pace and see if one of those might apply to you. The other use for that is if you say you're in the financial services industry and you want to see what's in Middlesex County, you can look at that area and you'll see a listing of the financial services companies we know about, and there may be some companies in there that you're not even aware of. So you can use it as the beginnings of finding target companies as well. For today's meeting, what we'll do is we've got a couple of ground rules. Right now we have about 30 attendees. What we'll ask is that you mute your microphones. That's at the bottom of the screen. You'll see 4 circles, and on my screen, it's the leftmost circle. And if you click on that, that will mute your microphone. And we will, if you have a question, however, we don't want to shut you down. So what we've been doing, it's worked out pretty well, is to use the chat feature, which in the upper left, it looks like a cartoon bubble. And it's got mine has a red circle in it right now with the number 5. So if you use chat, you can key in the word question, and I'll be monitoring that during the presentation, and will at the appropriate moment relay the question to Lynn during the presentation. The other thing is that we'd ask you to, at least for the time being, to turn off your cameras because it becomes kind of a distraction. And if you're going to speak, you can turn it back on. And of course, for the after party, we want you to turn it on. So Lynn, I think I'll leave my camera on so that if there's such a thing as nonverbal, we can have it. Okay, so that's enough of the preliminaries. Again, type question if you have a question. And today, we're really pleased to welcome Lynne M. Williams as our guest speaker. Lynne has distinguished herself by providing groups like PSG research-based workshops about LinkedIn, resumes, applicant tracking systems, networking, and other career-related social media and technology topics. Lynne writes a career column and is a contributing author to the book Find Your Fit, a practical guide to landing the job you love, with Richard Bowles, the author of What Color Is Your Parachute? And Richard has passed, unfortunately, but the books are still there. For most people, this would be what Lynne does would be a full-time job, but not her. Lynne has taken leadership roles in several Philadelphia area career management groups, and besides that is writing her doctoral dissertation on LinkedIn for job seekers. PSG of Mercer County is pleased to present Lynne M. Williams.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be back, even though it's virtually. I'm only an hour away from Princeton in that overseas territory called Pennsylvania. But I think this is like something like the 12th or 13th time that I've actually spoken for PSG of Mercer County over the years. So happy to be here today. I'm going to put a couple links in the chat. One of them is my link tree, and that's a link of links that'll get you to my personal stuff as well as our 501c3 nonprofit career education organization. And I put my LinkedIn profile in there as well as a link to the deck. So I know that David posts the deck on the PSG website as a resource, but this is live, and the links that I'm showing you on my deck allow you to click on the links and explore more, because there's way more to learn and explore and read above and beyond the deck. So as Bill mentioned, I am working on my doctoral dissertation on the topic of LinkedIn for job seekers, but very specifically, digital immigrants, which means Gen X and boomers, and that would be people who did not grow up with technology, even though you might have become a digital learner. I'm the executive director of the Great Careers Group, which was started in 2010, and president of chempharma.net. I'm involved in the Delaware Valley Veterans Consortium. I love to support vets. And I've been involved with SCORE, Chester and Delaware County SCORE, for, oh my goodness, this is nine years this month, actually. So involved in a lot of great things to help job seekers and people who want to be in career transition. So, or engage in career management. Sorry about that. So this deck is What's Your Shtick? Personal Branding Online and Off. And the link that I did put in the chat is also, on that first page. So we're going to talk about tips and best practices for your business or networking cards and or your keywords, or whether you're a job seeker. Taglines, slogans, 6-word memoirs, and we're going to talk about how you do a SWOT analysis with LinkedIn, as well as your personal brand, what's your reputation, and your action plan. So we first have to start out with what's the elevator pitch, and there's different elevator pitches for different situations. So I am a fan of the most short and sweet possible. That way it can be memorable, and if you add a memory dart or vivid image, then hopefully people will remember that. So my short and sweet is, I guide you to your keywords to beat the bots. So somebody might say, well, what does that mean, Lynne? Well, I write applicant tracking system resumes, and I base it on keywords for a resume and a LinkedIn profile. And then the conversation can continue. So the idea is I'm putting that bot, vivid image in your mind. Now, another longer elevator pitch that I've used is, are you a job seeker? Here I'm identifying my target audience. Do you need help identifying keywords to get found and land a job? So I'm addressing that pain point you might have. And then as the fairy godmother of job seekers, like a pumpkin to a carriage, I write resumes and LinkedIn profiles to transform them into job seeker tools that have relevance and impact to the employers you want to reach. So now you have a vivid image of a fairy godmother, and hopefully that made you crack a little smile, because it's actually kind of funny if you could picture me with my little wand. So now I say, need help? Call me. So there's that call to action, that I invite you to contact me, if I can fulfill this pain point of yours. And then you repeat your last name. Now, down at the bottom of the deck, there's the article by Steve Woodruff, who actually is the one that I learned about the memory dart from. But there's also a link, and it says read other elevator pitch ideas. So there are several people who have different elevator pitch ideas that are mentioned in that newsletter on LinkedIn. And one of them is Alex Freund. And, he is the interview coach. He's got a lot of great ideas on elevator pitches, and he also says that there's different elevator pitches for different situations. So one of the ones that he recommends is listed in that article. So what is your personal brand? And it's basically what other people say about you when you leave the room or the building, or you're in a different state. Somehow or another your name gets thrown around sort of behind your back, and hopefully it's in a good way if you've built a positive professional reputation. So I don't have a website, which may be kind of crazy. All my business is word of mouth, referrals, and that happens because my name is passed on to others around the country, and actually around the world, because I do have some global clients. And so I've been consistent with what I've been doing, with what I've been putting out in social media. I'm staying true and staying in my lane as to what I do. And when you have people that you've built relationships with, where you've built that know, like, and trust, if they've had a good experience with you or they just know you and what you do, they might pass your name on. So I thank all the people who are part of my virtual sales force. So how do you differentiate your brand? How do you become that purple squirrel? You need to distinguish yourself and differentiate yourself from other people like you. And one way to do that is, your keywords and core competencies. So you want to use keywords that are used in a big way on LinkedIn so that you can be found by others, but you also want any niche keywords. So what are your features and benefits? What's your value proposition? Now, speaking of value proposition, I'm actually doing a presentation tomorrow morning at CIT Short Hills for Marty Latman's group and whoever else is involved there on the value proposition letter. And if you do want to attend that, you must register by 4 p.m. today. I love this expression, riches and niches. I know it's niche, je parle français, but it doesn't rhyme otherwise. So we'll stick with the riches and niches. These are 3 words that I learned from my professor at Penn State Great Valley. I took a content marketing analytics certificate course there, and he said these 3 words, they really resonated with me. So although you want to use keywords in order to be found, you also want those niche keywords, which makes you unique and different and distinguishes you in your particular area. So here is a spreadsheet that I do, and it looks a little bit different. I have a little, different scenario that I do now, but basically I deal with 4 sets of columns. So I brainstorm with clients as to what the keywords are, and then we look them up. And I'm going to do a live demo on how I look them up and how I get those numbers. So hang tight on that. But I just want to go over the big picture of the spreadsheet. Now, when we finish this column A and B, what happens is I sort them from most to least. And then I will copy and paste A and B over to G and H. And then I sort them alphabetically. Now, I have a color coding system that I use with clients. And so when you start sorting words alphabetically and you color code them, you're going to start seeing trends with some of the words as to where they come from. Job descriptions, your own brain dump, or what you've put in your LinkedIn profile. Now, column C and D is, what do you currently have on LinkedIn? What's in your skills? You can have 50 skills. So you need to analyze those 50 skills, and are you using the best version of the word? And if you don't actually take the time to analyze it, then you're not going to know whether those words are working for you. And those are key words where recruiters who have the recruiter platform or recruiter lite, they can do searches by those keywords. And if you don't have them, if you don't have the right keywords, then you're not going to be found as readily. Now, not every recruiter has the recruiter platform or the recruiter lite because it's very expensive from LinkedIn. So what people will do is they will use something called a Boolean search, Boolean. I will talk a little bit more about that later. So you still have to look up your keywords, your skills that you've put on LinkedIn, and see what kind of numbers you get. So basically, this is a process of, think like a thesaurus. What are all the synonyms that you can use for words. Now, column E and F are the words that I choose with a client in collaboration that we're actually going to use on the base resume. Now, once you have a really well foundationally established base resume, you can take that and you can customize each job description or each resume to a job description so that you can submit a customized resume and you just flip out those keywords. Now, there's other parts of the process, but you know, that's a basic, simple explanation just to get you started. So let's take a look at how do I find keywords. So I'm going to go to LinkedIn and I'm going to click on the Jobs tab. And this is a typical example, and many of you have already seen this one before if you have been at my presentations. So if I look up project manager and I want Greater Philadelphia, it's going to show me up here in the top left that there's 18,132 results. Now, if I do project management, we go from 18,132 to 45,970. So if your headline on LinkedIn is Manhattan real estate, and you know how expensive that is, you would definitely want to use the word project management rather than project manager in that headline. Can you use project manager elsewhere? Absolutely. And you may even have the designation PMI. Well, you can put that after your last name. But you definitely want to use project management. I bet you any money that there are people on this call who are in finance. So let's say the word budgeting is in the job description. That has 18,795. But what are you going to put on your LinkedIn profile? Are you going to put in the skills area? Are you going to put in budgeting? Or are you going to put in budgets at 22,668? Or are you going to put in budget at 26,661? So if you have the word budget as part of your core competencies, because it's based on LinkedIn, and the job description has budgeting, you just add that ing at the end of the word as part of customizing your resume to make it more matchy-matchy with the job description. So before I go on, are there any questions? Bill?
Lynn, I don't see any at this point.
All right, great, thanks. Okay, so we're going to move on.
I'm sorry, Lynn. This is Mel.
Sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where are the numbers of?
Right. See the green jobs tab? It's right underneath.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yep, got it. All right. So I'm going to go back to my profile here, and so I can clear the jobs. And I'm going to go back to the jobs tab. Now, I want to point out something about the jobs tab in case you're not aware of this. When you save jobs in LinkedIn, this is where you're going to find them. At the top left, you see My Jobs on the left-hand column. So you can set up job alerts based upon key titles that you're looking for. Depending on the level of LinkedIn you have, whether it's free or premium or job seeker, you might be able to get salary information. You can do a skills assessment. There's interview prep. There's a resume builder. So let's talk about the resume builder right now, because this has to do with keywords. If I click on resume builder, I could either upload my resume or I could create from profile. Well, I'm not going to upload my resume right this minute, but I'm going to create from profile. So the reason you have to absolutely positively optimize your LinkedIn profile is because of this is one of the reasons. So if I were to put in the title of career coaching, do you see how there's nothing that comes up in LinkedIn? It's not in LinkedIn's database. So you can't take this stuff out of your head. You have to think like a database. So if I back up and put career coach, do you see how it pops up underneath? Now it's in LinkedIn's database. So it's going to use AI to determine what words are appropriate for me to use in my LinkedIn profile from the database. Now, over on the right-hand side, you're going to see resume insights. So here are a bunch of keywords that I have in my LinkedIn profile, and they're all check marked with little green checks. Now, because I have a premium account, it's suggesting keywords that I should have in my LinkedIn profile, such as recruiting, leadership development, organizational development, program management, etc. And it says show more. Now, if you have a free account, LinkedIn's going to block that information from you. And the reason is they want you to buy a subscription. Now, you can see at the top of this right-hand column, I have a little gold symbol that says premium. I do pay LinkedIn on a monthly basis and have for years. Why? I could probably get by just doing a free profile, but because I'm working with clients and I like to do a little bit deeper dive with keywords, and if they have questions about job descriptions and what do those keywords look like in the job descriptions, then I can pull that information up. So I pay as a service, to clients.
Hey,
But
Lynn?
yeah, yep.
There's a question from Anthony, and it is, which is better, LinkedIn resume builder or writing your own resume based upon advice from job coaches, job seeker, and networking meetings?
Absolutely, positively writing your own resume, because LinkedIn, you can only have one LinkedIn profile, and you want to customize your resume to the job. So although in my most recent recommendation from a client, he did put his resume on LinkedIn, I think you should customize each and every resume for a job. So if you optimize your LinkedIn profile and take the time to really look up the right keywords and tweak and modify to get to the right point, then that's your general base resume, aka LinkedIn profile. But then you want to do this analysis and flip out the keywords and also weave in key phrases from the job description into your resume to customize it. Anthony, does that answer your question? I don't know if you can give a thumbs up or anything.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you, Lynn.
Sure. All right. So let's move on a little bit more. Now, once upon a time, before April 2020, our headlines on LinkedIn could only be 120 characters. They're now 220 characters. So this is an example from back in the day of a headline that is 108 out of 120 characters. So how did we come up with this particular headline for this person? we did the data analysis. We looked up the keywords, we found out the quantities, and then we analyzed it and chose the best version or synonym of the word. So here is the keyword analysis. Here are the words in alphabetical order. I could have put them on a spreadsheet, but to make it easier for you to read, I just copied and pasted them in a few pages in the deck. So here's A to H, here's H to T, and that was it. So after analyzing those keywords, actually, and more, we came up with a list of core competencies. Now, these core competencies are in the top of the resume, and they're also in the About section of LinkedIn. So you want to target 5 areas for keywords in LinkedIn, or at least this is what I target for keywords in LinkedIn. Again, Manhattan real estate is the headline. That's number 1. Number 2 is the About section. Number 3 is our job titles. Number 4 is the skills section. And number 5, if you can add them in projects and publications. You know, I don't know what I don't know. I don't work for LinkedIn. I don't know anything about the algorithm, but those are the areas where I try to target keywords. I'm going to repeat them. Headline, about, job titles, skills, projects and publications. So although my LinkedIn skills may be one thing and I can have 50 of them, I don't want to put 50 skills or core competencies in my About section. I want to narrow that list down a little bit. I want to cull it. So I do copy and paste from a Word document with bullet points and put that in the About section. You cannot have paragraph upon paragraph upon paragraph in your LinkedIn About section and expect that everybody's going to read it. Accordingly, goldfish have an attention span of about 8 seconds and humans about 7 seconds. And we are inundated with torrents of content every day. So you have to make things on your About section skimmable and scannable so people can get a handle on you quickly. And if you put this list in alphabetical order, and there's a hiring manager or a human resources talent acquisition person who's looking for somebody with certain talents, if they see the list as alphabetical, logic's going to kick in and they're going to think, this person has project management, this person has cost reduction, this person has revenue cycle, this person has healthcare. So they're going to hone in on the must-haves in their mind. And if you've got their must-haves, if they see those keywords, there's a good chance they might give you a gander a little bit longer and say, oh, you also have managed care. Oh, you have revenue cycle. So they're processing in their mind based upon a logical list in alphabetical order. So I am a former K-12 teacher, and I used to teach language arts, and I used to teach math. So to me, I tend towards things that are logical, and it makes it easy for my brain to process. And I think the alphabetical order keywords or core competencies make it logical. A lot of people put the most important thing that they want to be known for at the top. And, you know, sure, can you do that? Yeah, you could do anything you want. Do I do that? Absolutely not. I do alphabetical order. And whatever that sweet spot is, that purple squirrel, your, you know, sweet, your bailiwick, your special sauce, you know, I just put it in and meld it in alphabetical order on the list. What's really important is that Manhattan real estate. up at the top, which is your headline. And I don't know about you, but I am a fan of WordPress websites, and I contribute pretty much daily to the greatcareers.org WordPress website. And because I've learned how to build SEO, search engine optimization, and into my blog articles and create, keyword focus and meta tags, and build, that SEO in. I've learned a little bit about keywords and meta tags and whatnot. And so I apply that knowledge to LinkedIn. And I'm sharing it with you here today in case you don't build websites or build in SEO. So because we're a 501c3 nonprofit, we also have a team of volunteers, and we have people that do specialize in SEO. We have people that specialize in Google AdWords. So we do look at, keywords a lot. And I just apply everything I learn from our team of experts, and I apply it to LinkedIn. So sharing it with you here today. Hope this is helpful.
Lynn?
Yeah.
We have a question from Alex Freund.
Yes.
And the question is, and some of this I think you've already covered, but where do you go to identify the right keywords, and how many words does one need?
Okay, so Alex, I did cover this in the beginning. I did do a live demo. So you might want to rewatch the beginning of this video. And how many keywords do you need? Well, in your headline, you can have up to 220, but the first 60-ish are the most important. Why? Because
right?
of Google. What'd you say?
Is it 220 characters?
220 characters. Did I say words? 220 characters. Yes. Thank you. But the first 60-ish characters are critical because Google indexes the first 60-ish characters. Now, why am I saying ish? Okay. The reason being is each character has a different pixel width. So an I is very skinny. An M is an I, but it has that hump. An M is an N, but it has an extra hump. So it has a wider amount of pixels, an M does, than an N, than an I. So depending on what the characters are in your words and the letters you use will depend on whether, is it 62, is it 64, is it 66? There's a website called Moz, M-O-Z, Moz.com, and you can, look up articles on this. It is website related. So just to try to, make it simple, you want to front load the first 60-ish characters in your LinkedIn headline, because LinkedIn is a website, right? And when you build a website, you want to make sure you've got, the keywords that are associated with you and your name front loaded, for Google indexing purposes. Now, when you have a banner, when you have a photo, when you have any other images on LinkedIn, you want to try to build in the keywords into the file name. There's an article, if you go to greatcareers.org, and in the top right, there's a search bar. Type in meta, M-E-T-A, space tag, T-A-G, and you will see an article that I wrote a few years ago on how to create a meta tag. And there's a step-by-step in there. So if you are putting a banner or profile picture on LinkedIn, if you build the meta tag in and front load it with those keywords, you want to put your name So my name, Lynne Williams, that would be at the tail end of the keywords. I want to have ATS dash resume dash LinkedIn dash profile, etc. dash Lynne dash Williams as the front part of that meta tag. So that's a little bit over and above this presentation today. And I do teach that in a little bit more detail in my LinkedIn workshops. So now's a good time to share that this is the 9th year I've been teaching LinkedIn workshops for the Chester County Library. It is now on Zoom, and it's every 3rd Saturday of the month, and it's a 3-part series. So LinkedIn Part 1 was last month, LinkedIn Part 2 is this month, LinkedIn Part 3 is next month, or in June, and then we start the cycle over with, in July, starts LinkedIn Part 1. 9 hours worth of workshops, and they're absolutely free. So on that link that I provided on the Linktree link that I put in the chat, you can click on that Linktree link, and then the first link is to the Great Careers Group Linktree, and you'll see on the list there that it is the link for the free LinkedIn workshops. So you can register right with the library. All right, now I'm going to talk about job titles. So here is an embellished job title for this particular person. Here's a couple of them. You can have up to 100 characters in your job title. So you want to put the real job title first, and then you want to put other keywords after that. And I separate them by the pipes. And you want to put a space before and after the pipe so that the word is in and of itself. That's just me, my best practices, and I think it makes it more clear and easy to read. Now, you only want to use the keywords that are going to help you in your future forward. If this is something that you did in the past and you don't want to do it in your future forward because you are pivoting or reinventing, then you want to not use the words of things you don't want to do. But there are lots of transferable skills to other areas, or unless you're going to stay in the same industry. So you want to use words that are going to help you. Now, I have a little story of a client. He and I were working on his keyword analysis in the spreadsheet, and we got it all done. We were ready to go, and the next thing I was going to do was build his resume and build his LinkedIn profile. So there's 2 things that he changed in his LinkedIn profile. One was his headline, and one was his first job. He got a call from a recruiter within 2 to 3 days because they were looking for specific niche keywords. One was co-location and one was latency, and he popped right up. So because of that, I know that these keywords work. And I know for many other reasons and many other clients that I've had. So you do have to optimize your LinkedIn profile with keywords. And every little bit of resume work I do, I'm a little bit different resume writer. I base resumes based on technology, based upon keywords, based upon, showing people how to customize for job descriptions. So one resume size does not fit all. You do have to have a good solid base resume, and you have to know that those keywords are the words that match, LinkedIn, and optimize your profile with those keywords, and then you can customize your resume for each job description thereafter. Any questions before I move on?
No questions in the chat.
All right. Now, here's what an about section might look like. You could put in your paragraph, okay, which is called either a value proposition, a positioning statement, a profile summary. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to call it. It's a paragraph. And if you notice, it says practice administration and operations healthcare manager. Well, when somebody goes to a LinkedIn profile, there's, I don't know, 250-ish or so characters that people could see before they have to click on see more. I am not a fan of using fluffy adjectives like results oriented, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's get right to the chase. Who are you? What do you do? What is that job title? What job are you going after? Like, hit them smack dab right between the eyes, right at the get-go in the about section. And you want to write in first person implied I. So is your LinkedIn profile more first person than third person? Yes, absolutely, positively. But I think it's a combination starting out with that first person implied I, that profile summary written in resume ease style, and then migrating and moving into the more personal human touch. And then you can use the word I. However, I am absolutely not a fan of using more than one sentence starting with the word I. I am a former K-12 teacher, and I used to get out my red pen, no joke, with students, and I would read these paragraphs, and every single sentence started with the word I, and I would circle all those I's and say, do you know you have 9 sentences starting with the word I? You have to make it interesting for the reader. It's not about you, it's what's in it for them. If they're an employer coming to look at your profile, what's in it for them? What pain points can you take away? What problems can you solve? What are you going to do for them? So you have to flip it so the point of view is that it's interesting to the reader to come to your profile and learn about transferable skills of what you can do to fix their problems and pain points. So if you're going to use the word I, again, I only use one, but you could say currently, comma, I, at present, comma, I, in the past, comma, I. So at least, change it up and make I not the first word in the sentence for other things. So after that value proposition, profile summary, or positioning statement paragraph, which is short and sweet, then I get into a section of writing about career highlights. So on LinkedIn in the about section, I typically do bullet point, white space, bullet point, white space. Why? Because it's easier for the eye to skim and scan bullet point, white space than it is to read this like the right-hand column here. It's very paragraphy. And visually, our eyes can't process all that as well as if it had white space. And I can tell you, if you have numerical, quantifiable accomplishments, which you should have, if at all possible, the numbers pop way more than if you don't have quantifiable or numbers that are in the profile. So then after that career highlight section, that's when I put the list of alphabetized core competencies, and then down at the bottom, contact information. And the reason it's important to put the contact information is because you want to make sure that people can contact you if they're not a first level connection. So what does that mean, or what does that look like? Pulling up my profile. I used to have more paragraphs on my profile, but I've changed that. Now, here's my positioning statement. I'm not looking for a job, but here's my one sentence that starts with I. I love what I do. Okay. So I'm telling people, what sets my hair on fire? Why do I get up every morning and do what I do? Right. So I'm telling people something about me personally. Now, what I've done is I've broken this into different sections. And once I got onto Clubhouse, which is a social audio app, and I had to build a profile, a bio on Clubhouse, I turned around and did this same thing. I copied and pasted it into LinkedIn because I was told, hey, people don't read paragraphs on Clubhouse. You need to make it bullet pointy and you need to put in emojis. So I am pretty much right at 2,600 characters for my about section. I cannot fit one more thing in here. So what I do is make it into sections with bullet points. And now here are my core competencies, alphabetized. And here's my contact info section. So if there's somebody who is not connected to me as a first level connection, they can still, take this and copy and paste anything and put it in an email or, book a call with me, etc. They can copy and paste that and put that in their URL. So you want to make it easy for people to connect with you. Now, if you are skittish about putting your phone number into LinkedIn or any place else, maybe you have privacy concerns, get a Google phone number. And you can have the Google phone number forwarded to your cell phone. So let me give you an example of that. As a virtually run 501c3 nonprofit, we have no brick and mortar. So if you click on Contact Us, this has all of our social media. You can click on any of these icons, but this phone number right here, guess whose cell phone it goes to? Right here, mine. Now, it's kind of funny that there was a gentleman who wrote an article as a woman who wrote an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer, and it went on a Sunday. It's a big article about reinvention. Guess whose cell phone number she published in that Sunday Philadelphia Inquirer? Mine. I didn't have a Google phone number at that point in time. Did I get phone calls? Yeah, I got four phone calls. So because of, a major publication in a major metropolitan area, I don't have any issues about putting my phone number, because I only have one and only phone number. I don't have any issues. I haven't had problems other than, the normal spam stuff that comes up. And, I do have a spam filter, and it does warn me, that it might be a potential spam call. And then I just let it go to voicemail. So I think you need to let people know, how to get a hold of you. Any questions before I move on?
Yes, two questions. This is from Carol, and her question is the recent LinkedIn career break option viewed by LinkedIn as a current position?
That's a really good question. I don't know what I don't know, but I'll tell you what my opinion is. I don't think in any way, shape, or form you should use a career break as your present position. I think it should be used as breaks for the past. This brings me to this particular slide. So I believe that your current position, you need to have a to present position on your LinkedIn profile. You need to have a job to get a job, but you say, oh, I don't have a job. How do I get that? Well, my opinion is you should think about maybe volunteering for a nonprofit. You know, PSG of Mercer County is a 501c3 nonprofit. Find out how you can help David. Greatcareers.org is a 501c3 nonprofit. I have all kinds of remote jobs that I can give people. You know, and you could put Great Careers on your LinkedIn profile as your job. So let me go to Great Careers Group, and then let's go to View as a Member. So it says Barb and 19 other connections work here. 22 employees. We don't have 22 employees. These are all volunteers. So these are people that use us either as a filler, or they're on our board, or they're a volunteer, or they're a past volunteer, or whatever. Here is, let's see. I'm going to use somebody from that, if I can, from that foreign country of Bucks County. See if he's still on here. No, maybe he took it off. All right. Well, we did have somebody else here. So here is Michael Dieterle. I'll just pull him up. He has a full-time job right now, but he also is a volunteer, and it says nonprofit volunteer event coordinator coach. So he puts our Eventbrite events up every month. So that's all he does. And you know, we're on Meetup, we're on Eventbrite, we're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, I'm for Facebook, and you know, many other platforms. So he puts our Eventbrites up, and he says that, you know, here he is, 2 years and 6 months, he's been volunteering for us. So if he didn't have a job right now, this particular job would be his filler, and you could put all kinds of keywords here of what would help you in your future forward. And then at the end, you could put nonprofit volunteer. So that way it's clear that you are a nonprofit volunteer. And if a recruiter reached out to you, it wouldn't be complicated. Could you have an interview the next day? Now, I did write an article. Let's go to my LinkedIn profile. So every week I write an article for 4 online news magazines. It goes out to about 100,000 people. And then I put a blog on our website, and then I also put it in my LinkedIn newsletter. So it's typically in my featured section of LinkedIn. So this morning I published how to align the Great Resignation with company culture, autism, and neurodiversity. But if you want to go to see somebody's activity, you click on Show All Activity, and then you can click on Articles. What did I do there? I must have not hit the right button. There we go. It's not. Okay, so here's all my articles. And there is an article on career break. So this is a feature for LinkedIn, but in my humble opinion, I don't think career break should be used for the very first job at this time. Just my thought.
Okay, Lynn, there is another comment from Alex Freund. He's going back to the topic of metadata, and makes the comment that his knowledge is that LinkedIn eliminates metadata attached to pictures, but not to other areas. And he's asking, is this your opinion?
I don't know what I don't know because I don't work for LinkedIn. I'm just applying my knowledge about websites to LinkedIn. So what LinkedIn does is anything that is over 26 characters in a URL, they convert it to a link.ed or something like that, like a shortened URL version. And I don't know what they do on the back end, but I don't care what they do, because if I'm going to have my LinkedIn profile picture with my metadata on it, if I use it on LinkedIn, if I use it on Facebook, if I use it on Twitter, if I use it on other social media platforms, I have that whole string of metadata attached. And Google does have photo identification. I forget exactly what the terminology is called right off the top of my head, but Google can identify, photos of a person. So whatever LinkedIn does or doesn't do, I still use the same principles for other social media. So I'd have to read something in writing that it does or doesn't from a reliable source. I'm only sharing what I do and best practices and applying transferable knowledge from website building and meta tags to LinkedIn. So here's the article on how to create a meta tag for your LinkedIn media. To me, it could only help and not hurt. But does it do anything? How much does it help? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
All right. All right. Now, here's a couple LinkedIn tips. So when you publish an article, you want to have 3 to 5 hashtags typically, but no more than 9. Sometimes I differ from that. I might have to put in a 10th, but you don't want to hashtag stuff. But usually, 3 to 5 are reasonable amount of hashtags. And, the 3 hashtags were part of the LinkedIn's URL. And that's part of that URL that goes out on LinkedIn. Now, next thing is, it says the algorithm will not reward you if you don't have a current position. Well, where am I getting that from? Okay, I'll show you in a minute. So my solution, as I previously mentioned, is volunteer. So here are a couple different links if you wanted to volunteer for my organization. But the best thing to do is to contact me. But we are always seeking volunteers and always seeking especially diverse board members. I believe that our population that we serve, we should have representation on our board of directors. So if you are interested in a board of directors position, reach out. I'm happy to talk. Now, here's this article, How to Conquer the Employment Gaps in Your Resume. Now, when you click on this article, which I obviously have to add a headline here, oops, or take that out, there are a couple articles here. It says, you may have heard that it's easier to get a job while you have a job. On LinkedIn, it is better to have a date to present job than to have a job that has an end date. Read this article and that article. So this article will take you to Job Hunt, best LinkedIn job headline when you're unemployed, and take you back. It will take you to that article. I did not write these, but I'm a fangirl, so I'm sharing them. And this one is unemployed, create a current role on LinkedIn. So I'm not the only one that is saying this. There's other people that are saying this. So I pay attention to that. Now, you also don't want to use graphics or images on your resume, but you can on your one pager for networking. Somebody's got to mute. There's a little background noise. Or you've got to mute them.
Okay, well, I'll take a look.
All right, thank you. All right. So this is something which we use for some of our networking meetings. It's a one pager, and a one pager is a modified resume, but it's not for employers. It's for job seekers sharing their target companies with somebody else. So as you can see down in the bottom right, it has targets. So, my targets are higher ed career services, Penn State, Gwynedd Mercy, Temple, Westchester, Ursinus, etc. So that's who I'm targeting. I would love to be in higher ed, part-time. So I've actually got something coming up in a couple weeks that I'm very excited about. Now, how do you make a one pager? Well, there's a link right there that you can click on from my deck, and it's in our FAQ section, and it says, what is a one pager and why do I need one, and how do I create a one pager? So this will take you to, here's a PDF example, here's a Word example, but you just create your own, but I just wanted to share my example. I make mine a little bit fancier because I'm showcasing my skills in Word and, putting some graphics in, and then the URL or the QR code at the top left is takes you to my LinkedIn profile. Now, your brand is also evidenced by your email signature. So here is my email signature for Lynne at aroundtheclockexecs.com, and then also greatcareers.org. Now, how do you make an email signature? Well, when I first made this particular email signature, I made it on mysignature.io, and it was free. I believe they're charging now. So I wanted to share with you, you can make a customized email signature on Canva. And there's the link right there that you can click on right from the deck, 10 email signature design examples and tips to create your own. So Canva is free unless you buy a pro account. I use Canva every single day. Now, as a 501c3 nonprofit, we get a free Canva account, and it has 10 seats. So we have 10 people that are able to use Canva and get to helping out making images for our events, because we run about 40 to 50 events a month. Now, we used to do handshakes. That was part of our brand. There are cultural things that go on with handshakes. I've had wet dish rag, what I call wet dish rag or fish kind of handshakes from men, from women. And, you want a good, strong handshake if you're going to handshake. But I think with COVID going on, we're now doing the elbow bumps, air fives, toe taps, etc. But that is considered to be part of your brand. Your style is also part of your brand. What do your clothes look like? Are your lapels dated? Does your hair need some help? Do you need some makeup on? Do you need a haircut? What's your tie with? Do you have 80s hair? All these different things, make up your personal brand. Now, you can make your LinkedIn profile your online portfolio. Now, this is my oldest daughter, and this is before she changed her profile, but it's a screenshot from the past. But she did create an online portfolio by putting in Google Docs, WordPress blog, etc., and as well as some videos So that showcases her skill set. So if you can build out your LinkedIn profile, and just think of it, it is a website. This is your personal website. So you can make it kind of a career portfolio. You do want to blog if you possibly can. Share your thought leadership, share your knowledge, share your expertise, and then make sure that you publish it on LinkedIn and other places so that you can let people know what your area of expertise is. So this morning I published, again, how to align the Great Resignation with company culture, autism, and neurodiversity. So this is a newsletter from LinkedIn. And you can see I have 4,151 subscribers. So I publish every single week. You can publish once a month. You can publish once a quarter. You can set whatever pace you want to publish an article on LinkedIn. Now, did I always publish on LinkedIn? No. I did not publish articles on LinkedIn. What I did, I'll show you. Thinking about it, is I started publishing things in my publication section. So this, I need to actually update this now that I'm looking at it. But this says 7 tips to enhance your LinkedIn and social media with other technologies. So here's show publication. So because I write for Vista.today, Montco.today, Delco.today, and Bucksco.today, meaning Bucks County, and Delaware County, Montgomery County, Chester County, they publish my articles every Friday. And so I put in the links to give them credit, because I do get an awful lot of exposure from Vista. And they do actually have other articles that are career related, and they actually post jobs by employers, and it's free to subscribe to these publications. So you might want to check that out. Okay. Now, if you are getting ready to go back out and do some in-person networking, like the good old days, we used to exchange business cards with one another. So here are some things that you might want to consider to put on your business card. Now, honestly, in the past 2 years, I haven't given out more than probably a dozen business cards. So my business cards are all outdated because we have a new logo for Great Careers, and we have a new website. We've changed our URL. It used to be greatcareersphl.org and is now greatcareers.org. So I have a lot of things to update on a business card. But if you do put together business cards or networking cards, here are some things you can put on the front. Here are some more things you can put on the back. Now, if you want to put a QR code on, you can put your LinkedIn QR code, or you can put a QR code on maybe from someplace else. So if you want to drive somebody to your career portfolio or website or something else, I use this little thing called QR Code Monkey, and you just put your URL in here. You can set the colors if you have certain hex colors, and you can put your logo in the middle, or you could put your picture in the middle if you don't have a logo. And then you create this QR code, and then you can download it, and it's all free. So what I do with that is I put this QR code in the banner of my LinkedIn profile, and this will drive you right to the greatcareers.org website. And you can see I have the logo right smack in the middle. Somebody's got to mute themselves, or Bill, you've got to mute them. Somebody's in the kitchen. All right. Now, business card printing options. You can go to staples.com and you can get one-sided business cards printed typically within 4 hours. A lot of people have gotten business cards printed by vistaprint.com. Just be aware that for their deal that's either 250 cards with $10 shipping or $10 for 250 cards and free shipping, it's still $10. They're really not free. Please note that it'll be a different quality of paper than if you upgrade and pay a little bit more. And you have to make sure that you uncheck the box that says, don't print, cards printed by vista.com. Moo.com and businesscard.com definitely have some cool options, and overnightprints.com is my personal favorite. They are out of Las Vegas. Are they overnight? No, but they might be now because a lot of people are not getting business cards printed, but they do other printing options. You can also have digital business cards now, and there's some pretty cool options out there. And you can scan business cards also and put them in your CRM system. Now I want to talk about taglines versus slogans. So a tagline is going to be something that is permanent for your business versus a slogan is going to be used with a marketing campaign. So if you think of yourself as a business, as a job seeker, you're looking for your next job, you can create a tagline for yourself. Now, the Great Careers tagline is your career, our mission. It's just 4 words. Now, when we took on BANG, Business Executives Networking Group, so that's one of our divisions for mid to senior level executives and business owners, BANG came with their tagline, members helping members. So I guess we have 2 taglines, but that is the permanent, tagline for the business. Now, if you think about if you're, more my age, which is boomer, and you think about have it your way, you're going to think, oh, that was an ad campaign for Burger King. Fly the Friendly Skies, that was something for United Airlines. So, think about what you could put on your business card. What is that problem that you solve? And what is your tagline that you can use? Now, some tagline considerations might include what fits your personality, what you or your company does, how you differentiate yourself from your competition, and how do you want to brand or market yourself. Here's a whole bunch of other different tagline considerations. I'm not going to read everything on this slide, but you do have the deck available, and you can go back and carefully read this and think about this if you wanted to think about a tagline. But I do want to point out in the middle, it says, what are your strengths or your unique selling points? USP. You might have heard of that before. What is your USP? Now, there was a book that was put out called 6-Word Memoirs, and there's a website for it. And there's a legend about Ernest Hemingway that he was challenged to write a whole story in 6 words. And he wrote, "For sale, baby shoes, never worn." Now, you could take that down many paths. I mean, your mind can just spin about that. Typically, from what I've seen, taglines are, around that 6 or 7 words. And here's some 6-word examples that were in this particular book. And I'm not going to read all these either and by who they are, but these kind of, made me smile or chuckle or something. And, might be good and fun to read on a Friday night when you're kicking your feet up and relaxing a little bit. Now, I came up with my own 6-word examples, So, my personality will shine out in here. So enjoy reading these and these. These were written after 2 glasses of wine. So I had a little fun playing with words and 6-word memoirs. Now, let's get to the meat of the matter here on LinkedIn. Let's talk about a SWOT analysis.
Hey, Lynn,
So, yep.
before we move on, just to tie this loose end up, Ruth has asked, what is the name of the Las Vegas business that you mentioned?
Overnightprints.com. So,
Okay, thank you.
overnight prints. They do more than business cards. They really do, a very nice job with, trifold brochures, one pagers. Like if you are involved in, printing, or marketing for a business, definitely check this out. The cool thing is you used to be able to order a kit, a media kit or something. Let me see, I haven't been on here for quite some time because I haven't needed business cards. But here's weekly deals. If you sign up on their email list and subscribe, they do offer discounts, so you never always have to pay full price that's published on their website. Take advantage, but you don't want to sign up for those weekly deals unless you're ready to execute in the near future, because you don't want to miss out on that deal. But they used to, I don't know where their services, green printing. Oh, green printing. Okay. Free overnight print cup. Yeah, they used to have media kits, so you might have to, research that. I don't know.
Lynn, and also Michael asks, what about virtual cards?
Yeah, that would be digital cards. And I did mention that on my deck, or maybe I didn't. Let's go back. Okay. Oh, no, I just mentioned about scanning your cards. The Haystack, I think, is a virtual digital card. If you just Google digital cards, oh my gosh, you're going to find a plethora of options that you can use. So what I like that helps me immensely is Linktree / Lynne Williams. So that's what I put in the chat. This was absolutely free. I did not pay one dime to create this. And so I have the Great Careers Group Linktree, which I'll show you in a minute. Here's my upcoming speaking events, my publications, book a call. I'm the president of Chem Pharma. I'm on the marketing committee of DBVC. I'm with Chester Delaware County SCORE. And Great Careers was #1 in the Philadelphia Business Journal as far as business networking associations for the past 2 years. But you can see I've got my keywords here, and it has my social media. So you want to reach me on, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. These are my personal accounts. Now, if I click on this first link, then this will take you to Linktree, and this is free for life for 501c3 nonprofits, and you can add more things to it than you can for the free account. So, here's the website home, our events, our membership, our blog, our social media and meetup. And here's this free LinkedIn workshops. Every Friday, we have an interview prep workshop for free from 9 to 11 a.m. You can subscribe to our Great Careers newsletter, which is different than my LinkedIn newsletter. As a 501c3 nonprofit, if you shop on Amazon and you shop on Amazon Smile and put our company name down, then we get a quarterly check from Amazon as a donation. We do take tax deductible donations. We have that through GiveButter, and you get an automatic tax deductible receipt, etc. So Linktree, I don't know, it's kind of a digital business card for me in a way. But check it out because it's one link of many links. And that's why I just have to give out one link now because this will get you to everywhere you need to go.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Lynn, this is Michael. My question more specifically was I've seen, particularly in the past when I was working in companies and dealing with vendors, that people would attach a file to their email, which in essence was a virtual business card. If you clicked on it, it brought up their information and said, do you want to make a contact? And out of that, and I was wondering, how do you do that? Do you need to get a specific piece of software?
Yeah, so I mentioned you can make a custom email signature in Canva, but if you just go to Google and type in digital business card, you're going to have your ads first, right? So this is pay-per-click. So I don't like to do the pay-per-click. Like I would just actually go in and open up a new window and type in blinq.me. And, I would go and compare prices on all of these different things. Here's the haystack one that I mentioned in my deck. So that is a digital business card, but there's so many people that are doing this. And it depends on, I guess, how many clicks, I guess, you get per month on the digital business card and what the pricing is. Some companies do, free, but it has limitations on how many links you can put in, whereas others have a small fee, might be $6 a month. But if you can, find something that works for you at the price that works in Google, go for it. So yes, there's lots of softwares that are out there that you can use. All right, moving back. Okay, here we are on SWOT analysis. I've written so many articles on my blog. Probably, I don't know, 170-ish some odd articles, I think. And this is one of them, is the SWOT analysis. And there are so many links in here. So here's perform a SWOT analysis on your LinkedIn profile. This is a checklist. This checklist has 130 different things on it. I know I can add more to it, and some of it I could probably delete because LinkedIn features change. There's new features that have come out in the past week. It's crazy. But, here's some examples. Have you customized your LinkedIn URL? You can see this is hyperlinked. If you haven't customized it, click there, read, and follow the instructions. Have you added degrees after your last name? Is your photo professional looking headshot or of just you, and is it friendly and charismatic? So all these links are linked to other articles that I've written that will help you improve and optimize your LinkedIn profile. This is a project. This is definitely a project. This is not something you can necessarily do in one sitting. So it's just like, you don't gorge yourself on, every single snack in the world at once. So this is a buffet and you go for a little snack at a time and accomplish a couple of these tasks to get there. But that link is available for you to do your review. You also want to create an action plan, and make SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. And then you want to learn more about branding if you are a company. You want to learn more about branding if you are an individual on LinkedIn. I've also included my upcoming workshops where I'm speaking, and also upcoming workshops for the Great Careers Group. Again, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We run about 40 to 50 events a month. Every Friday we run a clubhouse room. I've got somebody covering that for me today, so I could be here with you, but I normally have a guest on Clubhouse every single Friday. So let me just take you here so you know what to expect. This is just a Google Doc, and so here's my Friday Clubhouse information, and I obviously have to now update these two things. So it just has the dates of when I'm speaking and the times. So if there's something in particular that interests you on a topic that I'm presenting, you could just mark that in your calendar and know that when the Great Careers puts information out, we do about a month at a time. So we have all of April's events up, but I don't have any May events up or beyond. But I heard at the beginning, somebody was talking about making a banner for LinkedIn. So that would be, let's see, how to create snazzy graphics for LinkedIn and social media. So I'm doing that in the middle of May. Now, here are my already completed workshops in 2022, which is a lot. And every month I run LinkedIn Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, plus I have other LinkedIn workshops. Here's other career topics, my blogs, written articles, and then here's my bio. So I've kind of got a lot of things, that are in that particular link. Now, also, we've got thegreatcareers.org, and I want to just show you how our events page works. If you go down to the bottom of the events page, you will see a list view. So here are all of the events for the month of April. That's a lot. But I've put in the links, direct links, where you can click on, and it will take you up here. Now, here's What's Your Shtick, Personal Branding Online and Off. That's me cross-promoting PSG or Mercer County. So you're going to see, if I pull this up, there's no ticket here. So down in the bottom left is where the link is for this particular event. Same thing for tomorrow, there's a link, but the value proposition letter. Here's the clubhouse, same thing, bottom left. So Ed Samuel and Simon Childs are running my clubhouse for me right now. Next Tuesday, we have 50 but not finished. So here's an example of, you'll see tickets here. So this is our event. And if you are a member, you can click on the RSVP and log in as a member to attend for free. If you're not a member, it's $5. We cannot run our organization with the quantity of value that we provide for free. If we did like PSG and Mercer County, 1 or 2 events a week, that would be a different story. But we do like 10 to 14 events a week, and the people, our members, support our nonprofit. It's memberships here, and it's less than $1 a week. So here you'll see free events. So I just want to show you how to work the website. Because people are confused. Well, why are there tickets and why are there not tickets? And I see Paul Sakala's on. So Paul runs our LGBTQ plus outstanding career group twice a month. I will be running it on his behalf on the 7th because he hasn't learned how to clone himself and be at 2 events at the same time. So I'll be reviewing LinkedIn profiles in this one. But Paul runs every first and third Thursday of the month. All right. Next one is, here are my contact links.
Hey, Lynn.
My link trees. Yep.
Just before you leave the big list of upcoming events, Michael is asking, he asked the question, how do you attend the workshops? I think in the course of the last 5 minutes, you've kind of showed that you really have to go to every link or go to the link
Yes.
in the one you're interested in and deal with it then.
Yes.
But just to step back 1 second, how do you get to this page?
Okay. So if you look in the upper left-hand corner, it says greatcareers.org/events.
Okay.
So I'll take you from the beginning in just a second, but I do want to point out a brand new chapter that we have going, and it's on the 21st. It's called Recruiter on Call with Jobs, and it is free. Okay. It says get tickets free. So I have a former recruiter, now career coach, Melanie Mitchell Wexler, who is running this chapter once a month to start. So if you wanted to attend this particular event, you're going to see for our launch, I've got David Westerman, who is a recruiter. He has remote jobs, travel jobs, hybrid jobs, and local jobs. Now he's out of York, Pennsylvania. So, depending on where people are coming from will depend on whether the hybrid or in-person jobs, work for them. But every single recruiter that I invite will have remote jobs. That is absolutely, my goal. So how do you get tickets? Well, you're going to press the +1. You want 1 ticket. So you're going to click on, you're going to get a ticket, and then you're going to fill out this basic information, and then you'll check out now. Now, when you get into our database for the first time, it will ask you for your address, your phone number, your email, your name, etc. It's not asking for credit card information, not unless you're going to purchase a membership or a $5 ticket. So don't get scared about that. It's our database. We do have a privacy policy and a terms and use, and we're not selling this to anybody. This is just, we're collecting data for our database. Now, if you come again more than once, you don't have to fill out all that information. It's just a one-time thing. It'll be just simple name, email, phone number, zip code. We want to know where people are coming in from. Okay. So you will get an auto reply in an email within a minute or two. Check your spam folder, check your promotions folder. It will be there, and it will have the Zoom link in it. Now, when you click on the Zoom link, you also have to put in name and email. Now, we've had Zoom bombers once 2 years ago and once last week, and it was both of them were on me, so at least I know how to use the security feature on Zoom, to boot people out. But the reason we make people jump through hoops is we are a nonprofit. We do want to try and keep things safe for our members. And so, yes, we ask you to jump through a couple hoops because we think that maybe the Zoom bombers will hopefully not want to go through all that and to show how much of an idiot they are.
Okay, Lynn, one more question in chat.
Yep.
Here, I'm just going to read it to you. It's from E. Black.
Okay.
Do you think that digital business cards will be used more and more than paper cards in the future?
Well, people that are think green, and don't want to, add to the planet with, paper, I would say probably yes. And because we have become more digital and virtual during the pandemic, my best guess is that there's a lot less business cards that are being printed now than in the past. But, people are also clamoring to want to go back to normal and see people face to face, eye to eye. And, what are they going to do? They're going to exchange business cards. But with LinkedIn, there's over 810 million people on LinkedIn, and anybody can find anybody on business on LinkedIn if they're on LinkedIn. But, do you give that business card out as a reminder for somebody to go and look you up after the fact? LinkedIn used to have the find nearby feature where everybody at a networking event could hit the find nearby and everybody could go click, 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 click and connect. Then they took that away. Maybe they'll bring that back when, when it's safer for everybody to go to in-person events. I have asthma, so I do not typically attend in-person events at this time, just, for self-preservation purposes. So I'm very happy doing things virtually. I know it's not the same, but, everybody has to do what's right for them. So it's, but, I don't know. I'm thinking that virtual digital business cards will be definitely more of a thing because of the pandemic. Other questions?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. So here is the final page in the deck, I believe. And just to let you know, we do have 3 divisions. Great Careers Group is for anybody. We are a DEIBA organization, diverse, equitable, inclusive, belonging, and accessible. And if you find something that isn't that, please bring it to my attention and I will get it fixed. I'm very strong advocate of being DEIBA. We also have Business Executives Networking Group, which is for mid to senior level and business owners. And then we have our nonprofit career network. Our chapter leader is on hiatus now. He's dealing with some elder care issues. So we will get back on that. But if you do have an interest in nonprofits and you click on this, you're going to find some really good resources right here, nonprofit resources. And there's a bunch of job boards where you can find nonprofit jobs. So these are all linked here. They don't look like they're linked, but they are. You just have to click on them. I took away the underline and the blue, and the list goes on. So there's regional websites and whatnot. Let's see. There's something else. Did I miss covering something? We are going to be redesigning our homepage sometime in the near future, so this will have a new look. But if you want to subscribe to my weekly newsletter, it goes out every weekend. It's right here on the top right of the page. And I think that's it. And our blogs, our blogs are here, but you can put in any keyword up in the top right, and you'll either find an event or a blog for that topic. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Hey, Lynn, this has been great. One of the comments in the chat actually said there were plenty of takeaways here and things that we can take and apply, which was a real highlight for me. The one in particular that stuck out was from the very beginning, which was that your elevator pitch should include a call to action. And I think that not only with elevator pitches, but a lot of the communications we do in job seeking interactions, a lot of times we kind of leave it at the end, or we leave it open-ended. But an explicit call to action of some kind is a positive thing.
Yes, and they have to be different for different situations. When you're doing the tell me about yourself for a job interview versus here we are at a networking meeting of job seekers versus, doing an elevator pitch, in a grocery store line or at the doctor's office. I mean, you have to be prepared, for all different situations, because there's no Cinderella slipper. It's not a one size fits all, just like a resume. They have to be customized for the situation.
Great. Well, Lynn, thank you so much for joining us and for freely giving of yourself and all the knowledge that you have and experience. I'd like to make a few comments about what's coming up with PSG. Next week.
Let me stop sharing here. I got to figure out how to do that. There we go.
Okay, and you're welcome to open your cameras if you like. Next week, we have Joey Himmelfarb presenting, and the topic is visualization and achieving your dreams. Joey is always an interesting and entertaining speaker, so I'd encourage you to attend that. And another interesting and entertaining speaker the week after is Alex Freund. Some of you have heard Alex already, many of you probably. And Alex's topic is, do you understand the hiring manager? This goes back to what Lynn was talking about, that it's really all about them. So this should be a valuable presentation as well for people who are in that situation. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. The other meetings, we have some sister organizations. The Breakfast Club of New Jersey is meeting on Saturday, April 9th at 8 a.m. It's virtual. Glenn Pash will be speaking, and his topic will be Beyond the Resume, Sharing Your Skills and Yourself. Also at PSG of Central New Jersey, they meet Mondays at 10:30 in the morning, and PSG of Morris County meets on Wednesday at 9:30. And the websites for Central New Jersey are psgcnj.biz. For Morris County, it's psgmc.org. Now, David is on vacation, but he has plans to post today's recording on our website, which you can get it at psgofmercercounty.org. On the right-hand side, there's an item or a bullet point for meeting presentation documents. If you go to that, you'll find the presentation as well as the chat. So if you need to go back and revisit, that would be certainly the place to find it. Right now, I want to invite you all to stick around if your schedule permits, because we have, I'm going to end the recording, but we'll have our open networking after party. So it'll be, that's our, and it won't be an April Fool's joke. It will be real. So for now, thank you again. See you next week if your schedule allows, and goodbye.